Hi, my name is Ella Christianella and the Aloha Stories. Just imagine this. You go into work in the morning and your boss greets you with a big smile every day. It brings you joy. And you bring her a bucket of water and some manure from time to time. Everyone is just happy and the day is wonderful. You still have to be in time and never have weekends off. How does this sound to you now? All of this is real when your work is the garden. Mr. Bill Wise will be talking with us about his garden and the many secrets that they hold. Stay with us and wait for it. Flowers are your bosses, huh? How is it the freedom to choose your bosses?
Well, when I do talk to the flowers, I try to make sure nobody's around. I'll probably talk to the flower.
Yes.
No, I cannot be late to work because my wife, Heidi, will not let me be late to work.
Aloha. Thank you for accepting my invitation today and being ready to talk about your beautiful occupation. Today, I'm having as my new guests, Mr. Bill Wise. That's a beautiful last name, by the way.
Thank you.
Do you know the story behind your last name?
Well, my great-grandfather and his parents came from Canada. It's an English name. It's not a Hawaiian name. But,
okay. Please correct me if I'm saying something wrong while presenting you. All I can disclose today is that the Wise family is having the privilege to welcome some guests from a certain airline company, can't disclose which one, with the first Aloha flowers when they come to visit Hawaii. And their backyards hold many secrets that Hollywood studios use in their productions, right?
And there have been some Hollywood studios that have done that.
Flowers are your bosses, huh?
It is. Flowers are our bosses.
How is it the freedom to choose your bosses every months or years? How long do you have to replant your plants?
That's always an interesting question because the different flowers that we grow bloom at different times of the year. For example, this ginger blooms early spring through early summer. This ginger just started to bloom within the past 2 or 3 weeks, and we should expect them to be blooming through August. And this is a type of heliconia that blooms almost throughout the year. But now anthuriums bloom throughout the year, different colors, but there are always anthuriums here in Hawaii blooming. And the other thing we do is foliage these leaves, and the leaves are productive again throughout the year.
So like they grow at different times?
They do. And there's so many different kinds of foliage that we can use for our flower arrangements.
Do you need to use like fertilizer, or they just grow by themselves?
They can grow by themselves, but they like fertilizer. And because our farm is organic, we use mostly compost and something like kelp from the ocean, manure. There's a chicken farm, as a matter of fact.
So chicken manure?
And the plants love organic fertilizer.
Well, I probably don't eat too many organic things, so they're healthier than me probably. Which ones are your favorites?
Oh, that's a hard question. Really, Eleanor, that's a difficult question. I think they're all nice, of course, but I do have some favorites. There are heliconias that are a little bit bigger than this. They're called orthotricha, and they're this beautiful pink and green color with, it feels like hair along the sides of these heliconia. And they're strikingly beautiful and they're nice to touch. So orthotricha, those are my favorite. And they bloom in the winter.
So like you can't choose your favorite child?
No, that would be difficult for a parent to choose their favorite child. And I'm sure that, parents love their children equally, but for different reasons. One might be really pretty, a girl might be real pretty, or another girl might be super smart. And a parent finds a way to love their children equally well.
What do your regular days look? Is it necessary to wake up early, or you can be late to work?
No, I cannot be late to work because my wife, Heidi, will not let me be late to work. It's important that we do get up early. We do need to cut them fairly early in the morning, before 8:30, 9 o'clock.
Like very precise. So, do you often talk to your flowers like a therapist?
Well, when I do talk to the flowers, I try to make sure nobody's around. If I get to a group of, say, these are called barbados. And so if I get to the area where the Barbados are, and say I need 5 flowers. I'm cutting 2, then 3 flowers. Then I notice that one might be injured or broken or something and not growing well. I'll probably talk to the flower. If they're really, that day, the flowers tend to look really beautiful, I'll say something too. And thank God.
Yes.
Thank God for the flowers. Yeah.
Yes, He created them. They're beautiful.
Amen.
Are there plants that only grow on Oahu or not on other islands, or vice versa?
Vice versa. There are flowers that we get from Maui, and they're called protea. They grow at an altitude over 2,000 feet. Now, there's very few places on Oahu that have that kind of altitude. They seem to favor cool weather, and protea are they're stunning, they're beautiful. There are fruit trees that grow even higher. For example, on the Big Island, there are people growing apples, pear, and plum trees. Now, those trees probably will not do well anywhere here on Oahu. But almost anything that grows on Oahu can be grown on any one of the other islands with no problem.
How did you come up with the idea of having a farm and living far away from civilization?
We like it quiet. We like that kind of life. And I always wanted to retire and get maybe 1 or 2 acres and grow some plants. 1999, we found this farm in Whitmore Village. It was attractive to us, and we felt that it would be a great place. We love the river that goes through it, and our grandchildren love it. A lot of people that see the river and the farm, they like it too.
I really wanted to jump into that river. I had this urge.
I was ready to like grab you so that you would not
That should be instead my sister.
Yes, your sister was thinking about it too, I think.
Yeah, she's reckless. Before we went to your place, before the interview,
yes,
and when I saw it, it was just like very beautiful. I really loved it. I love the idea of you like living there and everything, and like I wish I could live there. It's very beautiful. How everything is so green and nice.
Valley that we live in has its own climate. In the mornings, oftentimes there's fog that fills the valley with this mist. So you wake up, the sun's not quite up yet, but the valley's just filled with this mist. And by 8:30, 9 o'clock, the sun has come out. It's gotten warmer and the mist is gone. But it's really nice when we get a chance to see that.
So like a little less work on you because you don't have to water the plants?
Yes, that's exactly right. Because the plants will easily take water in from their leaves, and the flowers themselves can take water in too. Yeah,
they're very smart, all plants.
Yes, it's very interesting how that whole cycle works, where they're called stoma underneath. They're little teeny tiny holes under the leaves and under the petals of the flowers that actually open up especially right when the birds are chirping early in the morning. That seems to open them up, and they can take in the water that's in the atmosphere.
Wow. So you stay younger for longer when you're in the middle of the forest, right? Like in nature, sorry, not forest.
You know, I would agree with that, Eleanor, that you could stay younger for a longer period of time. That's what I'm hoping. My mother-in-law lives with us, and this past April, she celebrated her 101st birthday.
Really?
So she's 101 years old, and she's still nice and strong. So she's 101.
That's amazing. 101 years old.
Yes.
So you're open to talk to me about your screen store? Sorry, I mean your backyard.
There was a movie called The Rundown with, he's called The Rock.
Yes, I know him.
All right. And the studio was looking for some place that had a river. Well, there's not too many rivers in Hawaii, but we have one.
Yes.
And so the person that was looking for a place had actually found the river first, came up on the river, couldn't find us, but he realized that there must be a driveway or something. So you've seen our driveway.
Yeah.
So he was on our driveway, and my wife was going up, and he was trying to come down. So my wife was kind of stopping him, and he asked if this particular property went all the way down to the river. So they started talking, and his name was Jim, and Jim asked my wife. He was a scout for the movies, and they started to speak, and it was because of Jim's work that that first film company came down. And then there were a couple of other movies that were there, but there was one TV show that stayed for a year, and that was a lot of fun. The name of the TV show was called Off the Map. And they were there for a year, and they were very nice about taking care of the farm. There were hundreds of people on the farm at any given time. If you can imagine, like 200 people on the farm.
Too much.
It was too much, but they were very nice, and it was fun. They were there for about a year, and they blew up a helicopter one.
That's so cool!
Scene.
Wow.
Yes, that was fun, and they did it at night, so that it looked very spectacular. So that was fun. And another thing was they had an anaconda snake wrapped around a person, and that was fun. The anaconda snake.
Like real one?
It was made out of silicone.
Oh.
It was made out of silicone, but it certainly looked real.
That must cost like a lot.
It cost $10,000 to make that snake.
For just a silicone snake?
For just a silicone snake. They made it in Los Angeles, in Hollywood, and then they shipped it over to be used on the TV show. We got to be friends with the special effects person, and he would tell us what was going on. He made false teeth for somebody, and then he made coral for another thing, and he'd always show us the different things that he would put together and fabricate. But they looked real, and he was an artist. He was very good at what he was doing. But it was always interesting to see all these different skills come together and produce something that was that people enjoyed watching.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So before today's interview, I asked you to bring something that we could share with our friends that has a special place in your heart.
Well, as a matter of fact, I did, and it was easy for me to bring it because I have it with me all the time, and it's my ring. And
can you tell us about it?
I'd like to show it to you. And there's our friend made this ring, and he put a fish on it. And the reason that I asked him to do that is because when Christianity first started, the symbol of a fish indicated that you were a Christian. So the word fish in Greek is ichthyos.
Yes.
I-C-T-H-Y-S, ichthyos. But the reason that's important is because Jesus Christ, Son of God, that acronym was the Greek word for fish, ichthyos. So if you and I were just meeting right now, I would take a stick, and on the ground I would make a half circle like this. And so you see how I did that, like this. And I would give the stick to you, and if you did this and made another half circle, so the half circle's like this, and they would look like a fish, I would know that you were a Christian. And we wouldn't be afraid to be in each other's company. I wanted that on my ring because I wanted to have some kind of symbol that indicated that I was a Christian, my wife was a Christian, and the nice thing about a ring itself, because it's a circle, it has no beginning and no end.
I'm just super impressed with your stories. Thank you for having this experience with me, this interview, and I at least want to live just a few of your life stories that you told to me. Like, you have such a lucky life.
Thank you, Ellen. Well, I'm very lucky to have you ask me to be here. I was very privileged to be here.
It was very comfortable to talk with you.
Thank you.
Thank you for staying with us until this moment. If each of us would grow a flower on this planet, would you imagine how beautiful this world would be? Well, if you can't grow them, then go and buy them and give them to your beloved one, just like this, without any reason. We don't need a reason to show each other how nice we can be. Overall, flowers help contribute to ecological balance, human health, and pollinators. Now go give that flower to your friend, or mom, or sibling, or your boss. Just because today is a good day